All right, let's get into the tasting. So today we are trying out some Strange Matters coffee from Lansing, Michigan. Beautiful bag, very colorful, very vibrant. Today it is their Strange Matter blend. A little info on them. They're a business of artisan coffee and baked goods. In 2014 was when they first got their location, but they started out as a coffee stand on the east side's Allen Street Farmers Market in Lansing. They started out with 4 employees, and now they have over 20 and 2 locations. So that's pretty awesome. Their first location was very small, 20 seats only. Their founder is Cara Nader. She started the business with over 10 years of coffee experience as a manager, trainer, regional barista competitor, and was also the Great Lakes Barista Guild's chapter representative. She's a world traveler and just wants nothing more than to provide the people of Lansing an excellent beverage and baked goods. This is a quote from her. Coffee and baking are science. We have to understand the variables that affect coffee extraction and baking and control the variables. They're pretty cool. I've been to them. Chad actually bought this bag for us to try.
Didn't we go up there when we went to the
Making in Michigan
Expo, Food Expo? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. They were pretty good. I think we got a cold brew.
Yeah, they had a New Orleans cold brew that I really liked.
Really, really good. Like I said, they've been around for a long time. It's a really cool place. Check it out. It's in downtown Lansing is the one of them. And then there's another one on Michigan Avenue, not too far away from that, in between East Lansing and Lansing. And it's right by the capital of Lansing. That's the one we went to. And I don't know if you guys have been to downtown Lansing lately, but it's pretty popping, pretty cool. They've done a lot of redevelopment and cool to see over the last couple of years. But let's get into the tasting in our brand new mugs that are also for sale in the shop or online. So Jack, go ahead and give us your first sip. Let's see if Jack can guess the notes.
It's not as hot as I prefer, but that's because we had some technical difficulties setting up.
Yes, we did, but we figured it out.
We prevailed.
Even though it's not hot, it's a little above lukewarm. I still think it's very delicious.
So they don't list an origin on there. It's a blend, Strange Matter blend, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
I would have to take a leap and just say this is their like go-to drip brew.
I would assume.
I would have to. Like, I'm just guessing. Based on the flavors that I'm getting, I would be led to assume that it's mostly, the majority of the blend is probably a Central American.
Yeah.
You're getting a little bit nutty feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of got a dry finish, like a pecan.
Ooh.
That's my biggest thing. That's how I can, besides how pecans taste, they leave a dry aftertaste in your mouth. So that's like, to me, looking at the flavor wheel, that's how I relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do that with the citrus a lot too, because like grapefruits kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, they have a very similar. I think citrus has more of the kind of juicy dryness, where the nuts give that really, really dry taste.
Something just attacked my eyeball. I'm sorry. I get a little bit of sweetness.
Mm-hmm. I get a little citrusy.
A touch of citrus, maybe like a lemon or a lime, if I had to be anything. Just kind of, I'll probably go with lemon. I'm getting that kind of like little semi like sweet sour acidity.
Yeah, it's definitely got a chocolatey finish to it.
Finish is bright though.
Yeah,
like it's
smooth.
It's not a like a bitter finish. It's a bright.
Yeah, my mouth is not overly dry.
No. And I guess so. Like when I say bright, I kind of mean a little bit of acidic finish to it. It's not a bitter. Like acidic and bitter are two distinctly different flavor profiles, and they affect your like palate differently. So I don't really get any bitterness at all.
No, this is very, very.
It's a very smooth blend, and that's the goal with the blend. You want a very drinkable, delicious, reliable coffee, and so that's another reason why. A blend is a good thing to have for your like standard drip that you serve every day. And this is because a couple of things. This is used in multiple different things too. Like if another common blend that producers do is in alcohols.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can go get a fancy single origin small batch bourbon. in each batch can taste different because it's an ag product. So, the corn is going to have a different flavor every year because it's a new crop.
It may rain that a lot more that year.
Could rain more, could rain less, could just be more humid all year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Same with coffee. You get a blend, you can hide the imperfections of the different varieties, different crop rotations, all of that stuff by blending it together and getting a consistent taste out of it.
Yeah.
So when you see single origin on a bag, it's from one producer, from one farm. You get single origin or you get a blend. It could be any different varieties of coffee. Like, so this one, we're guessing it's Central American. It might not always be. It might be a blend of a Central American coffee and a African. We don't know. But also you don't, shoehorn yourself into like a Guatemalan. Mm-hmm. It could be a Costa Rican one year. It could be a Guatemalan. It could be a Mexican.
You could have a South American.
A Honduran. You could use any coffee that has that general profile, and that helps with sourcing too, because different coffee,
different crop cycles.
Yeah, some countries have 2 harvest cycles. Some only have 1.
Most have 1.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a lot harder time getting a consistent blend if you're sticking. Or taste, I guess, not a blend, a profile if you're sticking to a single origin, because like Jack said, from year to year, from plot to plot, it could be different. And so with a blend, you're following a more of a profile and getting in that general region to get it to taste well. Jack said easier on sourcing because you don't have to get a natty erg.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be hyper specific. It can be just a Central American.
I would probably say, from my experiences, might be a Colombian too. Colombians tend to have a nice sweet flavor to it.
A little bit more depth of flavor.
Yeah. Guatemalans are nutty, so it could be a Colombian, Guatemalan, or Costa Rican, Brazilian, one of those two. Because Costa Ricans will have that sweeter chocolatey taste, while Colombians will have maybe a little bit more of a berrier taste. And Brazils and Guatemalans will have that nutty flavor. So it could be a mixture of all of them.
Could be.
Are you ready to figure out if you were close?
Yeah.
All right. So the flavor profile on Strange Matter Coffee's blend is bittersweet chocolate, toasted marshmallow.
That's the sweetness there, yeah. Well, a little like the carbony sweetness.
Yeah.
Burnt.
Candied oranges and pralines. Jack was right with the pecan. Got it right on the head. It does have a sweetness to it. It is a little bit toasty, and then it's got a very strong chocolate base. Very, very good. This honestly is like top tier, I think.
Yeah, this is so. A lot of these coffees we drink are very good, but they're not what I would call everyday drinkers because they're just a little out there.
Yeah,
they have a super strong flavor, or there's just like one little thing about them that's not something that you want to drink every day, right?
This was roasted at the end of April too.
Correct. Yeah, so less than a month ago.
Yeah, man, first time sniffing it. It is very, very, very good. Definitely has a I would say a Colombian coffee in there. It's got that kind of depth to it. Guatemalans smell a little more stale. They're like the Canadian whiskey of coffee.
It's got a little bit of a anise smell to it.
Yeah,
just a little bit of like black licorice, not a ton.
All right,
not like an objectionable amount.
So 0 to 10 sniffs.
8.2.
Yeah, I was gonna 8.25. All right,
I'll go with 8.25. I'm good with that.
All right, 8.25 out of 10 on the sniffs. Let's get to the taste. 0 out of 10. No 7s. I'm also going to give that an 8.25. No, 8.5. 8.5. This is a very, very good coffee. It is solid. It's got brightness to it. It's not overly chocolate, overly dark. It's got some sweetness to it. It's got some fruitiness, and then it's got that. It really takes you on the full roller coaster of what you're looking for in a coffee. got the sour, you got the sweet, you got the bitter.
Yeah, we've discussed that before, where you want those 3 flavors, right? You want the bitter, the sweet, and the sour.
Yep.
Well, I said there's not a lot of bitter. There is. I mean, it's coffee, so there's going to be bitter, but it's
at the back end.
There's not an objectionable amount of bitterness, which is very good. I'm going to go ahead and give it. I don't want to just match up, but I mean, 8.5 is pretty dead on the money.
Yeah, this is a solid coffee. And not to mention, the drinkability is also, a lot of times I feel like we get into like high-end coffees that taste really, really good. The drinkability is not always there.
Because they're pricey, because the coffee's expensive.
Pricey, it's maybe too sour or too bright and too different that maybe I don't want to try that all day, right? So this definitely has the capability to be drank every day throughout the day. I'm going to have to give this one a 9 out of 10.
Looking up the price real quick.
Okay.
Starting at $16 to $84.
What's the lowest price? This is 12 ounce.
12
bag.
ounce. $16.
Yeah, $16. That's pretty solid for specialty coffee. So yeah.
Yeah. 9 out of 10.
This is a good coffee. And I just like how they started, where they're from, what they're doing. The branding looks really great.
Well, and like, so some of them, you know, there's a high price and then you can't really find anything about them to really give you the reason why it's so high, right? Like, this has a story on the back. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways to brew this.
Yeah.
They give you their 1 to 17 ratio, just like us.
Good ratio.
And yeah, roasted in Lansing, Michigan. And I like their packaging, and it's just a really good. Everything about it is very good. So yeah, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Excellent work. 8.6 out of 10 is the final on this coffee. Excellent work. I want to say that breaches the top 5. Possibly. It's a very high number. Top 10. It is just broke into the top 10 at tied for 8. Actually tied for 6 because it's with Madcap, 616 Blend, and Third Coast, which I want to read.
And
Machina. It's tied for 6th.
Tied for 6th.
So yeah, almost top 5. Very, very great coffee. Really, yeah, it's solid.